Hey everybody from Decatur Central. Coming at you, Jody Rouse this morning with Coach Surber, coaching varsity men's basketball for 3 years, but in total coaching for 24. How do you feel today?
Happy to be here, man. Happy to be here. I think it's the first time that I've got to do a coach's corner, so happy to be here, man. Talk about our season.
Last night's game, it was pretty intense. Your team's defense and energy was matching, especially Tyrese. The way he was just so physical on the court, I mean, everybody was. What are some takeaways from last night?
Well, so I think the number one thing was it was a very physical basketball game, with being our first game. Obviously, I think that's something that we have to improve on as an overall team is just some toughness, some mental toughness, some physical toughness. I thought our guys competed. They have that will to win. We just have to clean some stuff up. Got to shoot the ball a little bit better. Had too many turnovers, careless turnovers, but get those things kind of fixed, and we'll be okay.
Yeah. Looking at the game last night, It was definitely something. A lot of miscommunication on the floor. You've seen it, but the way you just tell everybody to calm down and play their game and play as a team. It was very, very entertaining last night.
Yeah, and we played against one of the better players in the state. Mullins is going to be able to go to probably whatever Big Ten school that he wants to when he makes that decision. And I thought our guys did a really good job of recognizing his talent and understanding where he was at on the floor. And they had some guys that stepped up and made some huge shots, and which those things happen when you have to give one guy so much attention.
Very great game. But any teams you look forward to meeting in the conference?
Our conference is always super competitive. I think every game can come down to the wire. There's a lot of great coaches, really a lot of great players in our conference. Obviously we were supposed to play Franklin last week, but the game got moved with, the football team's success. And, that's always a tough, start to the conference season. And that game got moved back to December 22nd. But we start conference play next week on Friday against Mooresville. Obviously, a rival game for us and for them, and on the road, boy girl, triple header. So the atmosphere is always really good, and that's what one of our goals is to win the conference, and we've been able to do that the last 2 years where we split it. So that's obviously a goal of ours this year, and look forward to some challenges. So,
seeing just the atmosphere, as you said, in Mooresville game, that rival game, you guys going head to head every time you guys meet, whether it's football, basketball, any type of sport. That rivalry is just it brings the moments and excitement, especially for boys basketball.
Yeah.
But who do you feel is stepping up as a leader? Aside from the seniors, of course, any juniors or, sophomores just showing glimpses of leadership on that varsity team?
Yeah, obviously, with seniors, Aiden's been our team captain for, 2 years now. He just I don't know that we've ever had a kid here that generally cares about his teammates' success and his teammates' well-being. And so Aiden has always been that guy for us. But Malachi and Cunningham and Tyrese Burdett, they have really stepped up this offseason into some leadership roles and, just doing things the right way and live in the gym and want to be great. So obviously those two guys as juniors have really stepped up in some leadership roles for us.
Seeing, playing with Malachi freshman year and seeing him, play varsity is just such a great thing to see. Especially now, he tends to be a little bit more vocal. talking with him a little bit about it, he definitely seems like he stepped up.
Yeah.
Tyrese also,
Yeah.
Their actions on the floor, off the floor, just the energy they're giving on the bench too. It's just great to see.
Yeah. And Miles come a long way. I mean, from his freshman year, he had probably one of the best falls last year. Put him in a situation where he ended up starting probably 20 of our 22 games, where in the fall, early fall, if you would have asked me, I would have said he would have probably maybe have played JV. And, he ended up having a great sophomore season. And I mean, kid's always in the gym, always calling me to get in the gym, and all that stuff's going to pay off for him.
Just the practice atmosphere, how do you, what are the practices like? The energy that the guys bring in practice, how does that really translate to the game?
We try to have super competitive practices from start to finish. I mean, every drill that we do, we try to make competitive where there's some consequences to the losing group, whether that's varsity versus varsity or varsity versus JV. But just a lot of competing, a lot of competition. We get after it. Most practices, we treat it the same almost every day, honestly. So we try to get that competitive edge, that winning edge, just competing and playing hard, and those habits are established in practice. That's not something that you can just turn on game day.
Just the strengths that you see from these guys. What are some strengths that you see even into the preseason, coming into this season?
Well, we have a lot of talent. I mean, this is a pretty talented group. I think probably a challenge to some strengths is just getting them to buy in and play as one, because we do have some guys that can do some things, that maybe haven't happened in the past. I think some strengths are, I think this is some togetherness. These guys actually like each other and enjoy playing with one another, and if they'll do that on the floor during the game, we'll have a lot of success. So I think that team camaraderie is huge. But we just have some skill and some athleticism. I probably think that's our strength. Once we start making some shots, value in possessions a little bit more, I think we're going to have some success.
Absolutely. Do you guys have a slogan? Anything that you guys really just say?
Our slogan, I think you'll see it on social media, is we just, that run as one is kind of our team slogan. That's kind of what we roll with, really. So,
going from your first year of coaching to getting that position, playing Javon Tracy and everything, to now this year, you had some big names, Javon Tracy, Brandon Smith, that 22 class, then that 23 class with AJ Ball, Stephen Rogers, Ace Stevens, and then now you have this 24 class with Aiden Lawson, Keon Berry, these guys. What are some takeaways from the 22 and the 23 class, that you see in these guys still?
I think, obviously that first year with Javon and Brandon and Dyson and, Price and those guys are – first thing is I think they showed our kids that you can be a multi-sport athlete and be successful at all of them. I think, with all the Tracys that have come through here, I think that's what they've really shown, is that you can be great at multiple sports, if you put that time in and that work ethic into all of them. But I think, with my first year with Javon and them, just a great group of kids, man. Like, they competed, they liked each other, their leadership was good. Casey got to play with those guys. Aiden came off the bench for us as a sophomore with those guys. So, obviously I think being around, them just made them, just better athletes, and understanding how to do it. So, Then last year, I think that was a weird year for us with Anthony kind of transferring here late and trying to figure out all those pieces. But I think this year's senior class, Casey's a 4-year starter. He's been there, done that for us. So, the expectations for him as far as a leader and, stuff on the floor is, important. And I thought, I'll give Casey a shout out last night. Obviously, only being in basketball for a week, from getting off the football field, I thought he did a really nice job of letting the game come to him and obviously we're going to need him to score more as we move forward than what he was able to do last night, but I thought he played a really good game last night.
Absolutely. Going and looking at KC last season, averaging 17, to now this season, seeing that he, transferred, as you said, just a week of basketball playing, but it still felt like he was still kind of an aggressor, but really didn't want to force as many shots and everything, Some key takeaways from him, seeing as, it's just the first game, of course, but it seemed like he really was letting the game come to him, as you said, conducting the offense, it really seemed like these guys knew what they were doing, they didn't really look at you and say, yo, what's the play, coach? Tyrese Burnett, for example, told the guys, hey, we got a play right here, let's run it, it really seems like these guys, it seems like these guys were like 4-year starters,
they're bought in, I think last year was Reese's, first time really having to play point guard. So he was able to learn a lot last year. He had his up and downs last year and trying to figure out what we wanted done and how to do those things. And he's 100% bought into what we're doing and can kind of control it. And I think with Casey, it kind of stems back from summertime. I thought Case had a really good summer as far as recognizing the talent that's around him and that he doesn't have to do everything on this team. Like he's got some guys that can do some stuff with him. I think we haven't talked about Eric Hobson. Last year he had some struggles and having him back and he played really, really well last night. Going back and watching the film and his stat line was really. He only had 5 points, but I think he had 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals. That's a really good basketball game. So having him back and his mid-range shot, which didn't fall a ton last night, but I know will. But having him back and surrounded with obviously Malachi's talent, Tyrese's talent, Aiden's talent. And bringing, Nash, freshman, really, really good shooter that, struggled last night shooting, but that's not going to happen very often. So I really like what we have going. We have a really good, skilled starting 5 and some really good role guys off the bench. I thought, Isaac and Alec didn't play a ton last night, but the short time that they were in, they really did some good stuff for us. So, looking forward to it. Like after game 1, got to get a little tougher, got to make some shots, not turn the ball over, and we're going to be okay.
Getting prepared, this Friday for your game versus Roncalli. Seeing that the score was 58-51. You guys won, of course.
Sectional.
Yep. And looking back at that game, now you're about to play them regular season. No, it doesn't seem like anything is different. I definitely. Do you feel like you guys are going to come at them, out the gate? How do you feel?
Well, last night's game was a really good prep for them because Roncalli is traditionally known for playing extremely hard and physical, and and last night's game was that. They also have a really good player, just like Greenfield Central had. So, preparing for that lead up from last night to pretty much the same thing for Friday. Roncalli, they have a lot of shooters. Okay, we're going to have to defend the 3-point line. They love to shoot the 3. And they have a really good, their number 10 is a really good player that we're going to have to do a really good job on.
Just saying all that was amazing, just preparing these guys for Friday. You're very big on defense. It just, the coaches, the staff, very big on defense. Why is that?
It's what wins. So you got to score more points than the other team. But, I think that's something that, coaching staff meeting, obviously, in the fall, we really wanted to, a knock on me from an offensive guy. We, in years past, we've spent a lot more time on offensive stuff and not nearly as much on defense. And we've decided that, we're going to spend half of our practices on defensive stuff. And we have a good defensive team, and we have some guys that are some elite defenders. And, we try to hang our hat on that. And Coach Brown, they do all of our defensive stuff, and they do a really good job. And they make the defensive practice plan every single day. And we're going to hang our hat on that side of the ball this year, and hopefully get some stops. So,
overall, this team it's exciting to watch. Seeing my guys play. Just off of the first game alone, the energy your team brings on the floor, on the bench, the energy, the coaching, the staff brings. I feel very confident, to say that this team can go as far as almost winning a sectional championship. But I know that it takes just one game at a time.
Long season.
Long season, of course. Seeing these guys play, as you said, just got to get a little bit tougher, mental toughness. But overall, the defense, the stops and the offensive scheme that you guys run and the plays and these players and, these guys, bringing up each other, leading as a team, as you said, run as one. Overall, I'm pretty excited for the season.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. It's a really good group of kids. It's fun to show up every day for work and coach these guys. And, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, that's all I really have to say. I'm here with Coach Surber of the men's varsity basketball team for Decatur Central High School. I am Jody Rouse from Coach's Corner, and I'm glad to have you this Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
I'll see you guys later.
Thanks for having me, man.